The RIAA, as we call it here, has recently achieved a favorite verdict in which a mother of 4 kids called Jamie, I don't know if you know,
Jamie Thomas, yeah,
was condemned to pay $1.9 million as a statutory damage.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? And do you think that this is good for RIAA, or is it a bad thing for RIAA?
I'm really confused about why they did something like that. They said just like a year ago that they were stopping all of the legal things against just normal people, and you know they tried saving their own reputation of it. And also, what I found really disgusting about that is that it equals to $80,000 per song downloaded or uploaded. I don't know, not sure. And if you see the compensation that Air France had to pay for the disaster, it was $24,000 per person that lost their life. It says something about
the values
that the RIAA has. Well, their intention is to make money only, and nothing else. They don't care about the culture. They don't care about the society. Yes.
With regard to the denial of dollars attack, it was really pushed by one of you.
The denial of dollars attack?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know it had a name in English.
I heard from it in the internet, but I didn't know if it was really from one of you.
I'm not sure. You know, there's a lot of things surrounding us that are very unclear, even for us. Sometimes we make up stuff and like funny sites and funny projects. It's very probable that it comes from Gottfried. It's very probable, but I can't say that it does. But it would be right up his alley.
But can you say if it's a valid attack, the logic?
The logic? But I think it's more humorous than logic, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you agree with those who say that peer-to-peer is going to be substituted by streaming technologies? That people someday will stop downloading and just watching from the internet?
No, I think that this might sound funny, but the internet is not that binary. There is no such thing as yes or no. I think that streaming will be a complement to peer-to-peer, and if you do really good streaming services, some of the peer-to-peer networks will shrink. But the idea with the peer-to-peer networks isn't really to be huge and have all of the users. The idea is to allow access to material that otherwise wouldn't be allowed. So if there is a need for the peer-to-peer system, as long as it's there and being used when it's needed, that's what we're striving for. But if there would be good streaming services for like new TV series or music, we have in Sweden something called Spotify, which is a really good streaming option. I use it for most of my music myself. But it only complements the peer-to-peer system and the technology. So streaming is less effective when it comes to the economy as well for the ISPs. So I think something in between would be the perfect match.
You think that in some way this file sharing it can be good to the small industries, to the small bands, like new bands, new groups? It somehow puts them in the same level of how can I say, reach. It reached the same number.
Definitely, and that like. If you see the book The Long Tail by Chris Anderson, for instance, it shows exactly that effect. If you see the sales figures for Amazon, it shows exactly that effect. If you see the figures for Spotify, it shows exactly that effect as well. And smaller bands are going more on tour. In Sweden, I think the industry for live music has tripled in 3 years, which is probably due to file sharing in the internet as a whole. And some of the artists that used to have like a lot of gigs will now have fewer gigs because there is more competition. But that's not bad because there is so much more venues that actually play music and so on. So that market has increased much more than the record sales has decreased.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Paul McCartney said he was like satisfied with the Pirate Bay rate. And do you think that's why this powerful artists like Paul McCartney are afraid? Like
I think most of the thing is that he is, first of all, not touring anymore. He's quite old, and he doesn't make new music, so and everybody already has his music. And he just wants a new format to come out, so people have to re-buy all of this music again, because that would make him much more money. And you've seen that when the cassette come out, everybody had to re-buy all of the stuff they had on vinyl, and then the CD came out, and people had to re-buy everything on the CD, and now they want something else to come out, so they have to re-buy it, like MP3s on iTunes or something. And the price never goes down, it only goes up. And it would be legal for you most of the time to copy it from the old CDs or whatever you have. So they just want you to re-buy and re-buy the same thing all over again. And when you look at who, like I think it was Prince and YMCA and the Village People and who was it? Someone else tried suing us in the UK for £100 million or something like that. And it was UB40 as well. And none of them has given out music since like the early 80s or something. And those are the people who are most upset because they are used to having their CDs sold on the greatest hits and so on albums. But newer musicians, they definitely make more money from the internet, and they make themselves on the internet. You know, they wouldn't be anything without the internet nowadays, most of the new musicians. I think that if you don't change your ways coming from the old media, you won't be part of the new media. You have to embrace it and not fight it, and then that's the only way to survive today.
Do you believe in paid content as well as sponsored content?
Well, yeah, you know, a lot of people think that we are for this free as in no charge, but we don't really care if something costs money to get as long as you pay for a service of getting the material. Content itself should be free, but if you want to try to sell it, be my guest, but I don't think it's going to work. So I don't necessarily go out and then say that you have to make your content for free, you know, it's...
But you think that iTunes, for example, it's viable?
If iTunes would remove the DRM and would be available in all countries with no geographical rights management, and they would maybe just take payments for access to the music instead of each individual song, they would have a smash hit, I think, directly, and I wouldn't have anything against it. Because they would then provide a service to people which would be good for the people. The service is what you can charge for. You can't charge for content anymore. That time is over.